My husband is currently packing his bags and also packing our kids' stuff because he is going to leave to another state, all because I cheated on him with a mutual friend. My husband and I have been together for a while. No, I don't think there was any issues in the relationship or marriage whatsoever. I actually thought our life was pretty perfect, but then I decided to talk to one of our mutual friends, and one thing led to another. I think I was just really tired of the fact that my husband was constantly working, so I just felt very lonely, so I decided that I was just going to message his friend, just like we are friends, nothing else, that was it. And then all of a sudden it just led to something else. I mean, at least I had the balls to actually tell my husband what was going on because I could have kept it from him. I could have just moved on without telling him. After I told him, I was very surprised about his reaction because he was not freaking out or panicking. He just said, okay, and then he said he was going to pack his shit and go, but he was also going to take the kids.
First off, well done to the man. This is exactly how you should respond to such behavior. You don't need to freak out. You don't need to go after the guy that she cheated on you with. You should actually just thank her for showing you who she really is, which would be someone who is not loyal and clearly doesn't appreciate everything that you provide for her. I know this can be hard to wrap your head around, but you need to thank her and your friend because you could have spent the next 10, 20, 30 years believing that these were people who truly loved you and were loyal to you and good people to have in your circle.
My rent is $6,000. My nails, $150. My hair, $300 minimum. All right, my facials, at least $200, $250. So I pay for all this myself. I do not expect a man to take care of this for me because he is my partner, not my father. All right? I think the men have left now. Ladies, when a man invites you over to his apartment or his house for the first time, please rob him. Please understand that this man wants you to rob him. All right?
Wait, what? You had me in the first half. I was agreeing with you. You know what I'm saying? Because your man is not your father. He is not your caretaker. He is your partner. You was right. You was right on course. Then you just did a random turn out of nowhere. Why? You advising women to rob men that invite them to their cribs? And there's women agreeing with her in the comments. Y'all are putting yourselves in a life-threatening situation.
My New Year's wish is to ward off all the brokies, dusties, and bare minimum men.
Well, sure. Why not? Everyone's allowed to have their own preferences when it comes to who they decide to date.
In 2026, I need proof of income, at least 2 pay stubs, the LinkedIn profile, and social security number if you're trying to go on a date.
I really hope that they were joking. However, there are quite a lot of women out there that do have the particular preference that they only date men that have a certain level of financial success, which is fine. However, a lot of those women seem to get rather upset when you ask what specific things do they bring to the relationship other than their looks. A lot of them will simply say that they bring themselves and that should be enough. But they're not taking into consideration very successful men often have very specific preferences in regards to the women that they date as well. And a lot of women think that men should just be happy that women are willing to date them until they learn that men also have preferences as well.
All they bring is drama, entitlement, and stress. I honestly don't know who convinced her she's this important, but no man, especially one who hasn't even met you, is lining up to provide all that. People like this don't want a partner. They want a sponsor. They move through life like financial black holes, taking everything they can while being offended at the idea of offering anything of real value in return.
Would you give up your right to vote if it meant you got drafted into the army?
Yes.
Why is it more socially acceptable for women to hate men than it is for men to hate women?
Because men are the devil. Because men are trash.
If men are more valued in society than women, why would they be the first ones sacrificed in war?
Because they think they're more valued. They're being paid for more for everything. So you put your online.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Why are the men of today expected to pay for the sins of the men of the past?
Because they still keep making the same mistakes.
So is feminism about revenge?
No, feminism is about our right to be allowed.
I think there's a base level of equality that we're trying to reach over here, and as long as we can get to that, then I think we're chilling. But we got a long way to go. Wages and shit, absolutely whack.
Name a single right men have in America that women don't. Just one. You'll struggle to find it. But I can easily name privileges women have that men don't. like not being required to sign up for selective service. If this was really about equality, they'd be far more concerned about women who are actually oppressed in other parts of the world. But since that doesn't benefit them personally, it gets completely ignored.
Of course, men are not making angry responses to my video calling them losers, because men get called losers on this app every single day. And that's part of the reason why men are typically better at taking accountability than women. You know why? We tell men the truth. Men tell other men the truth. They will tell their friend, hey, you're fat. Hey, you're not good looking. Hey, you're not smart, and mean it. And you know what happens with those men? Oftentimes, they work on it and actually get better. However, let's take a look at us, ladies, because we do not tell each other the truth about almost anything. You will let your girlfriend go out there raggedy, and you'll be in her comments, yes, slay, boss, queen, you look like a 10 out of 10. You're lying, and you know it. And on top of that, we'll put on silly little names like, oh, she's just a girl. I'm just a girl. You ran up your credit card to $20K. That's not just a girl. You caused an accident that almost killed somebody. You're not just a girl. You're sleeping around with way too many men for you to keep track of and cheating on your spouse. You're not just a girl. You're a terrible human being. And I'm tired of women allowing other women to be terrible human beings. On my side of TikTok, I will call out the men who are terrible and the women who are terrible, because there's terrible people everywhere. And we have to get away from this idea that it's just the men. It has never been, it will never be just the men. To any of the girlies that were super triggered by my video, this is how men feel on the internet every day. Congratulations. Welcome to equality.
Why do you think you're entitled to something I work for? Touchy topic, I want to talk about marriage and divorce. My homie was talking to this porcupine. She told him that if they was to get married and he was to come into that marriage with property, she believed that she should own 50% of that property. Now, at the time, my homie really loved her, so he didn't have a problem with that. But he did ask her, well, if you came into the marriage with property, would you feel comfortable giving me 50% of that property? She said, no. So immediately, I'm like, nah, bro, she's rage baiting you. Based on the comments that I've read from the Provider Man video I made, I have a question. Do women genuinely expect men to be okay with that situation? Why would any man want to marry into that? Me as a man, I don't know the role that a woman should play. I'm not the person that's going to set that standard up. That's not something for me to do. I do have certain expectations, but none of them have to do with a woman being a woman. I just want people to be nice to me. The person that I love needs to be nice to me. My question is, do women think the role of a man is to be mistreated and abused and undervalued and be happy about it? And this is a genuine question. I'm not asking this to be, I'm not throwing no rocks and hiding I'm genuinely asking, like, is that what you want from us? The example that I gave, there's no way my homie's girlfriend was marrying for love. There's no way you can treat somebody that you love that way. I'm personally convinced that the perfect man is a man that suffers at the hands of his wife and is happy about it. Happy wife, happy life. That is such a crazy statement. Shouldn't the husband also have some form of happiness? Like, why would your partner being unhappy bring you joy? Like, why does that make you feel like you're more?
The reason people like this act this way is simple. They only care about themselves. And if you stay away from selfish, entitled people, you'll avoid most of the chaos that comes with them. Don't date them. Don't marry them. Don't even keep them as friends. Anyone who's perfectly comfortable hurting others as long as they get something out of it will eventually do the same to you.